Michelle Heaton has revealed the stern advice Katie Price gave her after her alcoholism battle saw her resorting to deceitful tricks to hide her problems. The Liberty X star 45 is now 4 years sober after she nearly died and was hospitalized in 2021 during her battle with drink and drugs. At the height of her battle, the singer drank 2 bottles of wine and a bottle of vodka virtually every day since 2018, when an intervention led by Katie Price resulted in her checking herself into rehab. Visibly glowing, Michelle appeared on Good Morning Britain on Tuesday, alongside hosts Susanna, Reid, and Richard Madeley, to discuss her battle. She told how the last number of years saw her drinking escalate, which resulted in her losing jobs and family members cutting her out. Michelle explained, "I was in and out of hospital, but I really thought I had control of my drinking. At some points, I really enjoyed my drinking. It was very social, it was locked down, and we had those garden parties outside. And I had problems beforehand, but it definitely escalated things. There were lots of ups and downs. There were lots of periods where I was in hospital, and I lost jobs, and members of my family and my friends just didn't want to talk to me anymore." At the height of her battle, Michelle was hiding bottles of alcohol from her husband and even placing it inside a sparkling water bottle. She said, "I was hiding my alcohol from my husband. I would be openly drinking in front of him, maybe a bottle of wine a night. And that's what he thought was my normal. I suppose at the time, everyone was drinking a lot more. But it was more, I would have a bottle of vodka in addition usually. And the thing is, I would always swear that I wouldn't do it again tomorrow. And I would promise myself that I wouldn't drink like that tomorrow. And then by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it was all out the window. I could not stop. I was dependent on alcohol." It was ex-glamour model Katie Price, 47, who has had her own battles with addiction, that spurred Michelle on at Get Help. The singer recalled, "There was just one particular day I remember. I was with Katie Price and she was great at the time. She had just had a stint of rehab herself. And I recognized that maybe if she could do it, maybe I could. And it took that recognition with somebody who had actually beaten the system for me to realize that maybe I could do it too." Michelle was praised by fans last year as she shared a throwback picture to the height of her addiction on social media. The snap showed the singer's face extremely bloated, demonstrating the grips of her dependency as she marked World Mental Health Day. Michelle has been married to Irish businessman Hugh Hanley since 2010, and the pair share 2 children, daughter Faith and son AJ. Michelle Heaton, known to many as one of the original members of Liberty X, has walked a difficult and heartbreaking road battling addiction. Behind her vibrant performances and television appearances lay a dark secret, one she managed to hide for years. As her life spiraled into chaos due to alcohol dependency, her close friend Katie Price emerged as one of the few people willing to confront her with brutal honesty. What unfolded between them was a deeply emotional journey, with stern advice, tough love, and redemption at its heart. Michelle's story is not just about addiction. It's about survival, truth, friendship, and the power of facing one's demons. Here's a full and deep look into Michelle Heaton's alcoholism struggle, how it impacted her life and career, the role Katie Price played, and how Michelle ultimately fought her way back to sobriety. Michelle Heaton had always been a public figure full of energy, optimism, and drive. As a member of Liberty X in the early 2000s, she experienced the highs of pop stardom. After the group disbanded, she transitioned into television appearances and continued to remain in the public eye. However, behind the cameras, Michelle was struggling emotionally. Following difficult pregnancies, a double mastectomy, and a hysterectomy due to carrying the BRCA2 gene mutation, her mental and physical health began to deteriorate. The immense pressure of being a mother, staying in shape, and maintaining a public image created cracks in her foundation. Alcohol, at first, seemed like a coping mechanism, but what started as a relief soon became a routine, and then a requirement. What many didn't realize was that Michelle's drinking wasn't limited to social events. Over time, alcohol became an everyday occurrence, often starting in the morning. It wasn't just a glass of wine to unwind at night. It was vodka before noon and hidden bottles in handbags and suitcases. Michelle became a master of deception, fooling friends, family, and even herself. She would go to great lengths to cover the smell of alcohol, to mask bloodshot eyes with heavy makeup, and to create elaborate lies to hide her condition. She became withdrawn and began losing herself in the addiction. According to Michelle, she didn't just lie. She created an entirely false world around her where everything seemed fine, but behind closed doors, she was battling for her life. Eventually, Michelle hit rock bottom. Her body began showing signs of severe distress. She was physically deteriorating, emotionally shattered, and mentally lost. The toll on her marriage and children was enormous. Her husband, Hugh Hanley, began to fear for her life. Her children, still too young to fully understand, were witnessing a mother fading away. There were moments when Michelle herself feared she wouldn't wake up the next morning. She was hospitalized multiple times, suffering from the physical impact of prolonged alcohol abuse. Her liver was failing, and she was at risk of irreparable damage. But even then, she resisted the idea that she was an alcoholic. The denial ran deep.